But let's go back to Wimbledon again. In the same tournament, I then had a strange feeling. It was a strange feeling came over me because there was this furore about you wearing your Jordans, and you kept insisting on doing it, and you had an altercation with a journalist, and I suddenly found myself tweeting the following. I said, he's such an unrelenting, uncompromising douchebag that to my horror, I'm actually beginning to warm to Nick Kyrgios.
Why to your horror? Why are you afraid of liking me? I'm just myself. I'm not going to conform to, like... Look, Wimbledon, for me, is the pinnacle of tennis, if not one of the biggest sporting events we have in the world. So I have utmost respect for everything that it represents. And every time I'm there, I have goosebumps. I understand the relevance of the event. And, I think I just put my touch on it. I'm not trying to change Wimbledon, but Nick Kyrgios is trying to bring his touch towards Wimbledon with, a slight red hat or some red Jordans. The majority of it is white. Like, I'm wearing white. I'm going out there playing in front of millions of fans, giving England some good tennis. So I don't understand why I got so much hate for that. And I think that's a picture that I'll remember for the rest of my life. That's when Nick Kyrgios is all said and done in his tennis career. Making the Wimbledon final, putting on that red hat, meeting the Queen, and doing that is pretty cool, I think. So I can understand why you're warming up to me.
Well, I was definitely warming up to you. And then we met an incredible common ground. We discovered we feel exactly the same way about somebody else in the world of sport. And it was Megan Rapinoe, the female soccer player, as they call it, in America. And it came after this clip where she basically treated a young boy trying to get an autograph, I thought was appalling dismissiveness. Have we got the clip? Well, I gave my pretty strong views about this on Twitter, and you actually replied, ha, 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 one thing me and Piers agree on. So we finally bonded over Megan Rapinoe being a spoiled, petulant brat.
Yeah, look, again, I'm not going to come on here and criticise athletes. I know that she's got, millions of fans worldwide, and in this moment in time, she may have been dealing with things, and you may be very dismissive. I'm not going to sit here and say I've been amazing to every fan that I've ever signed, a tennis ball for, or anything for, but every time, it's a young kind of kid, I do my best to try and look involved, because I used to be that person when I was young. I had my idols, and when they signed tennis balls for me, I was always super excited. So I know the relevance and the importance of being present in those moments. And, someone like me that I don't know if you know because you dislike me so much, I actually try and give back a lot to the community and spend time with kids. And I actually met a Make-A-Wish kid, a couple of weeks ago, and I enjoy that type of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really like the dismissiveness, but, I haven't been perfect either.
Well, let me just put this on the table. I've actually grown to really like you. And that may be the worst thing you hear from me all day, but I actually have, because
Thank you.
I watched the Netflix thing, found out a lot more about you, about your life, about your upbringing, what you'd come through, and the honesty I felt that you brought to what you'd gone through and the self-awareness that you had. I felt, I mean, look, I wouldn't use a phrase as patronising as it felt like you'd grown up, but it definitely felt like you'd evolved as a human being, and we're able to look back on that period when we first locked horns and recognise that that was not a path to any glory. That was just going to be completely self-defeating. Would that be fair?
Yeah, I think we all grow up at our own pace. But yeah, I definitely look where I was in 2016, where you and I had the run-in. And look, a bit of credit would have been nice from you. I mean, it was fourth round of Wimbledon against one of the greatest of all time. I thought that in itself was a pretty good achievement. But yeah, look, I've grown up immensely. I look back at, those Twitter beefs that I've had. I've had one with you, I've had one with Drake, and I just look back and I'm just saying, like, these are just so silly. And when I've met all these people that I've had beef with, we actually get along extremely well. I mean, I could imagine that you and I could go for a beer and for a drink and we'd have a great time with all the stories and experiences that we've both had. But yeah, I guess that Netflix series was really good for me personally, because it gave a bit of background into, people think that I've been entitled and got given everything off a plate. But, when I was young, my family didn't have much. I had to kind of work for everything that was thrown my way. And yeah, I went through my own struggles, and it was common struggles that most people do go through. So that's why I'm very relatable. So I think that's why it was very important.